Taehyung's emotional encouragement for Jungkook after his return to Korea in poor health. What really happened after the Calvin Klein show? What really happened when Jungkook stepped back onto Korean soil after his appearance at the Calvin Klein show in New York? Why did fans notice a pale expression on his face? Why did Taehyung immediately step up to encourage him? And what surprising emotions were revealed behind the scenes? Could this moment signal something deeper about Jungkook's health and the way BTS members support one another during their most exhausting times? The story of Jungkook's return has ignited countless questions among fans worldwide. He appeared elegant and professional during the Calvin Klein event in New York, yet whispers began to circulate that his health was not at its best. When cameras captured him upon arrival in Korea, his tired face, his slower steps, and his faint smile told a different story from the glossy pictures in the media. That's when Taehyung, his bandmate, his brother in spirit, his closest supporter, stepped in. But what exactly did Taehyung do? And why did fans say his presence carried more weight than words? From the moment Jungkook returned, stories began to swirl on social media. Some fans claimed they saw him struggling with fatigue. Others speculated whether his schedule had become too overwhelming. And then, almost suddenly, Taehyung's name entered the conversation. Eyewitnesses shared that Taehyung leaned toward Jungkook, spoke softly, placed a supportive hand on his shoulder, and gave him words of encouragement. But were these just small gestures? Or was there something far more emotional happening between the two members of BTS? The clues point toward a larger story, a story about friendship, loyalty, and the invisible weight of fame. Jungkook's health, though often kept private, has always been a sensitive point for fans. They know his perfectionist tendencies. They know how he gives everything for his performances, photo shoots, and fans. And now, with Calvin Klein pushing him into another international spotlight, the world has begun to wonder, did the glamorous runway appearance hide the reality of exhaustion and vulnerability? Taehyung's reaction became the turning point. In moments when the cameras turned away, when the lights dimmed, and when the frenzy of reporters quieted down, Taehyung stayed by Jungkook's side. Fans described seeing him whisper, hearing fragments of words like "rest," "don't worry," and "we're here." Why did those words matter so much? Because sometimes encouragement isn't just about strength. It's about being reminded that you don't have to face struggles alone, but the surprises don't end there. Behind the seemingly ordinary airport arrival, insiders claim that Jungkook had been pushing himself far beyond what fans could see. Was the Calvin Klein show the real reason for his exhaustion? Or was it just the tip of the iceberg of countless rehearsals, preparations, and hidden stress? And why was Taehyung's encouragement so emotional that even staff members reportedly felt tears rising in their eyes? The timeline tells us something fascinating. Just days before his flight back to Korea, Jungkook had appeared dazzling in New York, posing effortlessly in front of flashing cameras, smiling at fans, embodying the essence of Calvin Klein's bold image. Yet even during that glamorous moment, some fans noticed subtle signs. The way his eyes seemed heavier, the pauses between his smiles, the moments when his shoulders dropped as if carrying invisible weight. Could it be that his body was already signaling exhaustion long before he boarded the plane? And so, when Jungkook landed in Korea, the contrast became undeniable. Cameras no longer captured a glowing celebrity, but a human being fighting fatigue. He wore his strength like a fragile shield, but his steps were slower, his complexion paler. Fans gasped, not just because their idol looked tired, but because it was so rare to see Jungkook, known for his boundless energy, showing visible weakness. This is where Taehyung's encouragement changes everything. Observers recall the way Taehyung leaned in, spoke softly, and made Jungkook nod faintly, as if reassured. One fan described it online. The moment Taehyung touched his shoulder, Jungkook's expression shifted. It was like watching someone finally breathe after holding it in for too long. That single description spread like wildfire, leading to endless speculation. What exactly did Taehyung say? Did he remind Jungkook of their bond, of their shared hardships, of the fact that BTS is not 7 individuals but one united soul. Fans started piecing together more clues. Some said Taehyung later posted subtle words of encouragement on social media, perhaps indirectly addressing Jungkook's situation. Others believe his entire demeanor during public appearances, protective, thoughtful, and gentle, was designed to shield Jungkook from the storm of scrutiny. Could it be that Taehyung was carrying not only his own emotions, but also the responsibility of helping Jungkook recover, at least emotionally, from the pressures of global fame? This isn't the first time BTS members have supported one another in moments of weakness. History shows countless examples. Jimin staying by Jungkook's side during injuries, Jin stepping into light and heavy moods, RM speaking words of comfort when exhaustion hit, and Suga quietly ensuring the youngest felt protected. But Taehyung's latest gesture stands out because of the timing. At a moment when fans were panicked by Jungkook's health and headlines were filled with concern, Taehyung chose to make his encouragement visible, almost like a public statement. He is not alone. I am here. The emotional response was overwhelming. Fans wrote long posts about brotherhood, loyalty, and the invisible side of stardom. Some cried as they typed their words. Seeing Taehyung comfort Jungkook reminded me that even the strongest need someone to lean on. Others turned their emotions into art, painting images of Taehyung holding Jungkook's hand or writing poetry about resilience and love. The fandom united, not just in worry, but in hope. And yet, the mystery deepens. Was Jungkook's poor health simply the result of jet lag, an overloaded schedule, or something more serious? Could this be a hidden warning about the dangers of pushing idols to their limits? Fans continue to question, because every detail matters. His slow steps, his faint smile, the way he leaned slightly toward Taehyung. All these details are now being analyzed frame by millions of eyes. I and the world of BTS. Nothing is ever just surface level. Every moment carries weight, every gesture has meaning, and every word echoes across oceans. That's why Taehyung's encouragement is being remembered not just as a private act of kindness, but as a symbolic reminder of what BTS stands for. In a world where fame often isolates, they remind each other, and their fans, that true strength lies in togetherness. Could this moment between Taehyung and Jungkook become one of those legendary stories fans tell years from now? The story of the day when the youngest returned weary, but the warmth of a brother's encouragement kept him standing tall? Many believe so, because sometimes history isn't made on stage. It's made in quiet whispers at an airport, in a hand resting on a shoulder, in the unspoken bond of two people who have shared both glory and exhaustion. Taehyung's emotional encouragement for Jungkook after his return to Korea in poor health. What really happened after the Calvin Klein show? When the news broke that Jungkook had returned to Korea in poor health after dazzling the world at the Calvin Klein show in New York, millions of fans found themselves asking the same haunting question. How could someone who looked so flawless under the spotlight look so fragile just days later? Could the bright lights and cheers of adoring crowds really have hidden a deeper truth? And why was Taehyung's role in this story so powerful that it moved not just fans, but even those who usually keep their emotions in check? The image of Jungkook walking slowly through the airport in Seoul spread like wildfire. Cameras captured his tired eyes, his slightly pale complexion, and a faint smile that seemed to carry both gratitude and exhaustion. To most people, this could have been dismissed as simple jet lag. But for ARMY, his devoted global fanbase, every detail became a clue. They asked, was this merely the toll of a long-haul flight, or was Jungkook's health more fragile than anyone dared to admit? The speculation grew louder when fans noticed Taehyung stepping closer, his hand brushing against Jungkook's shoulder, his face etched with concern. Unlike the playful, mischievous Taehyung the world often sees on stage, this was a different version. Calm, protective, almost older brother-like. One fan wrote online, the way Taehyung looked at him, it was as if he wanted to carry all of Jungkook's pain himself. That comment alone garnered hundreds of thousands of likes and shares.
Why?
Because in that single gesture, people saw not just an idol group but a family, not just stardom but humanity. What exactly did Taehyung whisper to Jungkook in those moments? We may never know the exact words, but the expressions told their own story. Jungkook nodded faintly, his lips curving just slightly, almost as if reassured by the quiet encouragement. Could Taehyung have said, "Don't push yourself too hard"? Or perhaps something even simpler, "I'm here." Sometimes it isn't the length of the words, but the sincerity behind them that makes all the difference.